Only 1 scoop needed. 1 scoop only from AstroFlav. In this industry, there's a lot of different pre-workouts, and a lot of them take more than 1 scoop to get you where you need to be. AstroFlav's telling you, well, you only need 1 scoop with this one, and I love the message. What I love even more is what they put into this product. It's actually quite impressive. So let's take it from the top and talk about what you can expect from the ingredients in 1 scoop only. Biggest ingredient here right off the bat is going to be 5 grams of D-Ribose. Now, we talk a lot about ATP recently, and D-Ribose is going to be one of the main drivers of ATP. What is ATP? Well, if your body's a car, ATP is the gas. This is going to upregulate ATP synthesis and a lot of energy for your workout, because you're taking 1 scoop and you're going to have a great workout now that you're taking it. Second ingredient here, L-Citrulline at 4 grams. Citrulline doesn't need to be a huge dosage. What's funny about this being 1 scoop only is probably a lot of people are expecting a big scoop out of this. And well, it is a 22.1 gram scoop, but there's a lot of other stuff going on here than just your traditional citrulline. And I'm a fan of that because we don't need all that much citrulline. I enjoy more, sometimes I like that, but for 1 scoop only, we're not getting a huge mega dose of that expensive citrulline. We're getting just what we need, a clinical 4 grams. From there, we get your normal 2.5 grams of betaine anhydrous. Again, clinical stuff here. Don't need to talk a lot about it. If you know citrulline, you know it makes pumps. If you know betaine anhydrous, you know it's great for power output, hydration, thermoregulation. There's actually a study making larger arms in women, so it helps out with muscle growth. I don't know if it comes to men. It doesn't really work for mine very well. I take a lot of betaine. My arms never seem to grow. But again, clinical dosages here, 1 scoop only, full clinicals. Big fan of this. Calci-K after that is going to be an electrolyte blend. Now, I think that a lot of people, when they see 4 grams of citrulline, are gonna be like, that's not enough pump. I need more pump. And one of the cool things about majoring in electrolytes is you're gonna get awesome pumps from that. And I think that's something that a lot of these TikTok brands that are going with like 10 grams plus of citrulline are missing out on, is the actual hydration factor. In fact, I think that most people, if they actually utilize electrolytes correctly, wouldn't even need much of a pump supplement to get a great pump. Oftentimes, I don't take anything other than just electrolytes before I go to the gym, and I get awesome pumps off of just that. So Calci-K is a really awesome Albion electrolyte blend that I'm a big fan of. Patented complex of potassium, phosphorus, and calcium, all super important for muscle contractions. If you want to contract your muscles in the gym, you need to have these through your system. Yes, you can get them from food, but you absolutely should be supplementing them if you are an athlete that sweats regularly. From there, we got magnesium, bisglycinate, chelated magnesium. Our bodies don't absorb electrolytes on their own in their elemental form. We have to chelate them. The best way to do this is to chelate them with amino acids, because our bodies really are good at absorbing amino acids. Now, this rounds out the flavor really well alongside the sodium chloride after this. So you're getting magnesium, potassium, calcium, and sodium, a great blend of a whole bunch of different electrolytes. Really, really big fans of how this is working out. What's kind of cool is they actually went with almost like a 1.5 to 1 ratio of potassium to sodium. Not a ton of potassium. That's honestly kind of like a good thing. Potassium can make some uncomfortable gastric distress if you get too much of it. Different dosage here, but definitely one that we're enjoying. And lastly here, estrogen. Estrogen at 50 milligrams, kind of a cool play. A lot of people are, again, I'm going to bring it up. A lot of people are going to be upset there's not a ton of citrulline in here. Estrogen helps with citrulline absorption. I'm a big fan of the usage of it here. When you use something like estrogen, you don't need more than 1 scoop. You can pack it all in 1 scoop and get more out of it. So from there, we get the strength and performance matrix, and that's where you get your traditional 3.2 grams of beta-alanine. Beta-alanine helps with work capacity, helps you get more volume in your workouts, helps you do more volume and work, which means you're going to get more hypertrophy out of it. It's an indirect thing. I'm not saying it's a muscle builder on its own. As you progressively overload, you're going to be making more hypertrophy in your workout. From there, we get into the most exciting ingredient in here. And that's not to say that everything else isn't like cool or working or anything, but NucleoPrime from NNB is not an ingredient that we see oftentimes in pre-workouts, and it's super, super cool that it's in this one. We got 250 milligrams of NucleoPrime. Believe me, it's not a cheap ingredient. Very awesome that they're using it in here. So let's talk about what it does. So this is a trademark complex of adenosine monophosphate, which is AMP, guanosine monophosphate, GMP, and uridine monophosphate, UMP, as well as cytidine monophosphate, CMP. So these are going to be nucleotide polymers. Really important for metabolic processes, and again, the creation of ATP. When you use this product, you're going to be really regulating ATP production. Now, what's really interesting is if you listen to those words, the adenosine, guanosine, uridine, and cytidine, you might be remembering biology in high school and college. These are building blocks of DNA and RNA. So if amino acids are the building blocks of protein, this is on a much lower level, going to be the building blocks of DNA and RNA. Now, with all things NNB, this tests out, each one of them is going to be around 24 to 26%. There's 4 of them. You're going to get 100% total. it's an even split almost between all of them. It tests out. We've seen the test. But a recent study subjected participants to 4 sets of high-intensity bike exercises during which their power and fatigue were repeatedly measured. The experiment was conducted twice, once to establish a baseline and the second time with NucleoPrime. NucleoPrime had been used for a week up to that second training session. And compared to the first session, the second session, the study participants maintained their peak power for significantly longer during the session, and also found that self-reported levels of fatigue were lowered after the second session, as were blood cortisol levels. So both subjective and objective analysis of their stress/inflammation/recovery. Now, another study published in Nutrients in 2013 found that nucleotide supplementation might lead to improving time to exhaustion, heart rate, and running speed. That wasn't technically on NucleoPrime, but it's kind of important to note here. If you want to learn more about NucleoPrime, we have huge articles and videos on it on our blog and YouTube. We go really in depth, but for me, it's one of the most exciting parts of this product. It's not just, a stim product that just brings tons of energy into your body. It's also something that's going to help fuel you for better performance. And NucleoPrime definitely drives that. From there, we get into, something that you kind of more often see, although it is a newer to pre-workout stuff, Synactive at 75 milligrams. 25 milligrams more than normal. We usually see like 50 milligrams. It's kind of cool to see because Synactive, while the clinical is 50 milligrams, we've oftentimes seen recommendations of using more than that. New Life Sciences themselves recommended 200 milligrams. Of course, they always want us to be using more because we're buying more. But as someone who has used higher dosages of it daily for literally months on end, I definitely vouch for a higher dosage of Synactive. It's a senolytic ingredient which helps get rid of old cells and bring new ones in, so it lowers inflammation and it really improves performance markers. What's really cool is that while using it, and a lot of other things go on with the different analysis of the study, but while using it, time to exhaustion during exercises using Synactive increased by 20%. And in this study was conducted at 80% of VO2 max. So it's a really intense exercise and it still increased time to exhaustion by 20%. That's a huge change. So definitely take Synactive. From there, we get the Energy and Focus Blend. This is where a lot of people are going to be familiar with these ingredients for normal traditional pre-workout stuff. And this is where you get that, real buzz. Tyrosine at a gram. Tyrosine's awesome. Precursor to things like norepinephrine, dopamine. It puts the blinders on you, gets you in the workout and gets that intensity. Caffeine and Anhydrous at 375 might be a little bit high for some people, but believe me, it's safe. It's wonderful. Love the caffeine. Get after it with it. Bitter Orange at 30% synephrine, 60 milligrams. Bitter Orange is an awesome source of synephrine. It's the legal compliant way to use it. And lastly, wolfia, meaning rauwolsine alpha yohimbine at 1 milligram. This is not going to be like a super high dose. It's just going to get you sweating. This is what really kicks up the intensity for me in the gym. Altogether, this is an awesome blend of your synephrine, your wolfia, your caffeine, and your tyrosine. A little bit on the higher dosage end, but considering where AstroFlav is coming from with this pre-workout, I'm super excited about it. It's compliant, it's helpful, it's awesome, it's therapeutic. It's more than just stims. I'm a huge fan of it, quite frankly. And that's that. A really fun scoop using things from therapeutic agents for getting rid of inflammation and boosting performance, but also some awesome traditional fun stimulant stuff and some new NucleoPrime. Overall, I think it's an awesome product. I've really been enjoying it and I've been using it one scoop at a time. So I did say I got the bottle for free. We do have a business affiliate relationship with AstroFlav, but hopefully this is helpful. I intend to have an educational video with these. So if you did like it, feel free to leave a comment below or any questions. I'd love to talk to you about it. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching and have a great day.